Hello and welcome to this XLM price prediction for 2022. The moves and price action that I talk about for XLM will all be reliant on the Bitcoin price chart. The first video in this series was in fact actually Bitcoin's price prediction for 2022. So I advise you go over to my channel and check that out first. It's a slightly longer video than this will be, and it will just go more into depth into all of the things that I'm going to talk about in this video, although in this video they will be slightly more concise. Welcome to my latest subscriber, my newest subscriber, Illumi23212. Welcome, thank you for coming. Anyone who subscribes to this channel and is the most recent subscriber will be shouted out automatically in the description. Also, if you join as a member, you will also be shouted out there as well. The last one was Poo Pachu. That hasn't changed since yesterday, but just a funny name, just thought I'd say it. If you click subscribe and then click refresh, you might just see your name appear as a new subscriber. So XLM's been around for absolutely ages, and for the most part I treat it basically the exact same as XRP. Although XLM has actually outperformed XRP, especially when we look at the last bull run, when you talk about this area, that was one alt season, this was another alt season, and actually XLM outperformed XRP, which is my largest holding by a considerable amount. It makes me think, should I be in XLM over XRP? Also, what you can see is that we've been involved with XLM for multiple cycles, and this is really influential in the way I look at coins, and especially when I look at making decisions to enter positions into coins. That's one of the things I have to see. I have to see that the coin that I'm looking at has been in at least one full cycle. By that I mean participated in the last bull run and survived the bottom of the bear market. So XLM's done all of those things, right? And today, of all days, we've actually seen quite a bit of red in the market. So in the short term, we are leaning towards the lower targets. In this video, we're going to go over, if the price continues to go down, where we can expect the price to come down to. And if it goes up, or when it goes up, what are the targets for actually selling your XLM and leaving the market before the prolonged bear market. Those are the things I'm going to go into, and I'm also, at the end of the video, going to tell you how many coins you need to retire in this alt season that we're waiting for. Obviously, it's my anticipation that we will see a double-pronged alt season like we did last time, right there, right there. The same thing happened in the cycle before that, and basically I'm looking at this time period right here as number one, and now we're waiting for that number two to come in over here. To make it easier, this time period right down in here, I'm saying is basically the same thing as what we've seen down in here. So because it's more relevant for right now as the price is coming down, let's talk about where the price would come down to. And what I always do in this instance is I just set out a range that I see the price coming down to. What we're looking for in that range is for multiple occasions where the price has come up and hit resistance, and come up again and hit resistance, and come up again and hit resistance. If we can see that a certain line is actually giving us those key details, like for example right here, you can see that this wasn't just a resistance for the price where it comes up and bounces off, but it was also a support where the price came down and bounced off, came down and bounced off. When it fell through, it struggled to get through it as resistance, 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 resistance. Just an interesting area, right? These are usually the areas where prices bounce off in a reversal. That right there would be like the target line should the price actually continue to collapse. But we need a buffer when we're talking about, if we wanted a dollar cost average into XLM, obviously we need a range for that. So that range would typically go around, you can see sometimes it overextends and then has issue around that line. The range, there needs to be a buffer around this line so that you can appropriately dollar cost average in, because the price can waver around this number, just as it wavered in over here as well. And it's relatively approximate, but you just want to be able to catch your orders, right? And if you are more bearish than bullish, you want to make sure that that box is further up and the line is further down in your range, because you want to make sure that all your orders in. If you're slightly more bearish, obviously you'll weight that on the other side where the line is higher up in the rectangle. I mean, personally, I am more bullish on the market in general, so I'll typically have that in the lower half of my box, just because I am more keen to get my orders in, and I'm happy to watch the price go down for a little bit, because I know I've got my coins, I haven't missed out any orders. Eventually the price is going to where I think it's going to go, right? So that range for you just to see here, and you can see the numbers on the right because I made them extra large for you, that's anywhere between 0.0795 all the way up to basically 10 cents. Getting your buy orders in this area is, if you've got extra capital that you want to distribute into XLM, then you can set your buy orders around there. The alternative thing that you could do is this kind of theory that I'm formulating right now. I'm going to make a video about it soon. But it's a form of DCAing where you only buy on red days. I'm going to call it the red day DCA. That's going to be how I'm going to coin it for this channel. And essentially what that means is any red days that occur in that range, those are the days you buy. Any green days you don't buy. The smaller the red day, the smaller the allocation to that token, the larger the red day, the larger the allocation. So it's not a set amount every day, and it's not a set amount every red day. It varies depending on the strength or the weakness of that day as well. I think that's the smartest way to dollar cost average in an area. So let's get to the upside. Let's see what the price is going to do. So on this channel, I use the Fibonacci extension tool. I take that from the peak of the last cycle, which was in 2017/18, and drag that across so the bottom line is at the bottom of the market. That happened on the 9th of March, 2020. You can see quite clearly, and this is where I want to go into my 3 rules when looking at coins to enter into. The first rule is that we have to have seen historical data. I said that at the beginning of the video, and XLM has that going for it. We've seen lots of historical data and resilience in the market in bull runs and bear runs, and it's still around. And actually it's still matching the rest of the market's moves. What the rest of the market has done in terms of the altcoins is it's had its all-time high in the last cycle. It's survived the bear market, and it's popped out of the 0.236 line, which is this red line right down in here. It's popped out, returned back to the red line, and dropped below. That's what you see with so many other coins: SIA coin, EOS, XRP, Zcash, Dash. All of these coins, especially the ones that I talk about quite a lot, they've all done the exact same thing and all show us that one alt season has happened. The second rule is that the coin cannot have had a new all-time high in this cycle. XLM clearly hasn't had a new all-time high. It did kind of get close, but it didn't. I have to be black and white on that. It didn't reach a new all-time high, and then it came down to the 0.236, and we're now waiting for the other alt season. The third rule that I think about when I'm looking at buying a coin is that it has to currently be in the 0.236 zone. Essentially, anything below 24 cents for XLM is a buy, and anything above 24 cents, this whole area, this whole blue area here, this is not when you buy XLM. This is when you leave XLM alone. If you haven't bought lower than this area, do not buy it until the next cycle. Wait until it's in the 0.236 zone, which highlighted in another blue little square here is this whole area right down in here. That for me is the third rule, and all are equally as important. And actually probably 98% of the coins I'm in all meet those criteria. XLM hits all of those rules perfectly. So what are my targets for the end of the alt season for XLM? Well, my targets ultimately are this white line right up here. That right line is my 3.2 Fibonacci extension line. When you look at Bitcoin's chart, using the 3.2, I actually exited Bitcoin way back in February 2021. You can see the price had that ultimate massive run. I took out here, and ultimately that's a really good decision. Using that 3.2 across the market, across all coins, and backdating it across all those coins, the 3.2 seems to be a fantastic place to leave the market. So when I use this 3.2, this is my target. If I was holding XLM, the 3.2 would be where I would leave. There's other factors at play here, and actually there's another strategy that trumps this strategy for leaving the market. And that's something I talk about considerably with my members on the members only Discord. You can actually click join on the channel right here and join as a member and get access, private access to the Discord, and talk with the community and ask me questions there. Probably one of the most important things you could know about the crypto market, especially if you're new. And so that 3.2 line is at $2.90 from the absolute worst time that I would suggest that you buy coins, which would be at 24 cents. That is almost an 11x on your money. But of course, we are considerably lower than that right now. We're not at 23 cents. We're at 8.5 cents right now. And from 8.5 cents to the price target is 2,200%. Ridiculous, I know. But look what XLM can do when it's given the opportunity. And what's super interesting is that if you take XLM from its area of capitulation down here in October, where the final kind of push for the alt season began, and you take that fractal and you place it on where we are today, where we've had this low. If we had that low at the line, I'm talking about this low right here, just have a look to see what the price does. It just barely reaches the 3.618, and the 3.2 eventually would be an unbelievable spot to be leaving the market. you can't hope for a better time to leave than the 3.2. I just think it's funny how these moves look so unrealistic, especially when you look at it from where we are today to the price target. You think, how is it ever going to do that? Well, it has done it, and it did it twice. So, you know, that kind of movement is familiar to XLM and XRP. And it's just funny that there was confluence between the line that I picked as the ultimate bottom for XLM, the previous movement in the market, and the 3.2 line. So let's say you don't want to be involved with crypto and you don't want to be selling and timing the selling and timing the buying. What if you just bought now and just waited like 10 years? Let's have a look to see what would happen by doing that. The least difficult way to make money on crypto, right? It's just hold. So we take the previous high and we see what the percentage decrease was to the ultimate bottom of the bear market. That was 96.83%. Let's say that the 3.2 is reached. All we have to do is go down 96.83%. Interestingly, right at that line again. Super interesting. We can now draw this new Fibonacci for the next cycle right onto here. And the next cycle brings us up at $9. And so buying today and just wait, not even selling at the 3.2 and not even buying at the bottom, just keeping the coins that you've already bought, that would be a very nice, almost 7,000% growth on your money. And you haven't even sold or been active in crypto. You've simply just waited for the next cycle. No, I just think that's really, really interesting. And the overall kind of thought process here for crypto in general is just wait. Don't worry about these daily movements, even the black swan events. Don't worry about them. The price is going to go up. Just relax. Just sit on it. Enjoy your life. Try and live a stress-free life. And live a long time. I definitely think the lower the time frame of the chart that you look at, the lower your lifespan will be. That's quite interesting. And so we need to calculate how many XLM tokens we need to retire in this cycle. So the numbers that I use are based on an 8% interest yield, because ultimately when we sell at the 3.2 line, we'll convert all of our coins into stable coins or hold them in a place like Nexo or Celsius or Freeway or Voyager. There's a whole range of them. You hold them in your own currency in those accounts and they earn an interest yield. Nexo, for example, you can get about 8% interest on holding just your dollars or your pounds or your euros. That's about a 0.66% interest every month. If I say that a $5,000 a month budget for your bills, for your lifestyle, is sufficient for you and your family to retire, which I think is a reasonable amount, you will need $750,000 to do so and get the interest to pay your lifestyle. What that means is you'll need 259,000 XLM tokens to retire at the 3.2 mark. So it'd be interesting for you to go and have a look to see how many XLM you own right now. Maybe set yourself some targets. Of course, I'm not saying invest in XLM only and just go for it and wait for that 3.2. Obviously, you might want to spread your bets depending on how risk averse you are or how much risk tolerance you have. But it just gives you a kind of good insight as to what one coin could do based on its value today. So actually, if you have $32,300 right now and you have nowhere to put it, buying XLM at this moment would get you the amount of coins that you need to retire at the 3.2 level based on the numbers I just told you. So that's quite interesting. Who has 23k lying around? And obviously you'd need less coins if you were able to buy in, at these lower levels. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? Help me get to 10,000 subscribers. We've just recently started growing since my kind of hiatus since my break on this channel, and also the publishing of that video that no one liked. So we're about 52% of the way towards that 10,000 subscriber mark. And at the 10,000 subscriber mark, I've got something planned that I'm just putting in motion now, nice and slowly, taking my time, thinking about it. It's for the community to feel more a part of the community. I'll say that much. So join along for the ride, and I'll see you in the next one.